Hello, Shwmai, hello and welcome. My name is Phoebe Morris, and for my final project I have chosen to write 2 songs based on traditional Welsh folklore stories. So the 2 stories that I've decided to focus on are Llyn y Fan Fach and Bedd Gelert. So Llyn y Fan Fach is at the bottom of Wales near to where I live, and Bedd Gelert is North Wales right at the top. So both of these stories originate from polar opposite sides of Wales. So the purpose of the field trip to both locations was to try and gather some information and inspiration when writing my songs. Information-wise, maybe I've learned something that I wouldn't be able to find out online, and inspiration of maybe the areas and the community and how the songs and the folklore are integral to the community or whether they're not. So yes, that's what I'll be doing on these trips. Without further ado, this is the footage from my trip to Llyn y Fan Fach. I hope you enjoy. Come with me today to visit Llyn y Fan Fach, the place that the story The Lady in the Lake originated. So I've arrived at the bottom of the Brecon Beacon Mountains. It's just a 30 to 40 minute walk up the mountain to get to the Llyn y Fan Fach. I was pleasantly surprised to actually see that there were quite a lot of cars in the car park. So hopefully when we get to the top we'll see that a lot of people are travelling here to see the location. So yeah, I'm really happy and excited to cross-examine this as well with when I go to North Wales and see Bedd Gelert, to see how popular it is up there, and if people are still interested in coming to see the places, the origins of where our folklore stories began. So yeah, I'm just going to have a little read of this sign now and see what it's got to tell me, which has a map of the location of where we need to get to. So we are here currently, and I'll show you the location when we get to the top. There's also a rundown of the folklore story. In brief, a man visits the lake and sees a woman sitting at the side of the lake combing her hair. He instantly falls in love with her and requests that she come and be his wife. She says her only conditions are that he never strikes her. He has 3 chances. He strikes her once, he strikes her again, and after the 3rd time she returns to the lake, never to be seen by him again. He spends the rest of his life coming to the lake in hopes to find the Lady of the Lake, and never does. So now we're going to go and explore the lake. Up we go to the top of the mountain. After a long walk up the mountain, I've arrived at Llyn y Fan Fach. It really was quite a trek to get up, which showed me that, you know, people that are coming here to see it, they really are going through an effort to get here. And I think that kind of highlights to me the importance of our heritage, and that people are still interested in coming to see these locations that the folklore originated. Unfortunately, there aren't many people up here for me to speak to, but we did pass a lot of people on the way up that were journeying down. And it was nice to see, you know, that so many people wanted to come here and be here, and it really is absolutely beautiful. And I think something that's dawned on me is that the story is quite dark. You know, it's a tragic love story, and I think the darkness of the story has got beauty behind it, and I think seeing this location has, you know, made me feel that conflict of the dark story behind it, but in such a beautiful location. So I'm excited to see how this will affect the way that I go about writing my songs on the folklore story. So yeah, this is a shot of the lake. And you can also see that there are a lot of people travelling up to the top of the mountain, the very peak, in hopes to see the lake from a higher viewpoint. I can only imagine how beautiful it is up there. But yeah, there's no lady in the lake. This second chunk of footage is going to be the footage from Bedd Gelert, so I hope you enjoy that too. So yesterday I travelled from Llanelli at the bottom of Wales to the very top. I'm in Bedd Gelert. This was our home for the night. And we are sited just opposite of Gelert's grave. The town is actually called Bedd Gelert, so it's named after the folklore story. So yeah, I'm excited to go and chat to some of the locals and see how popular of a tourist location it is. And yeah, so we're going to get some breakfast and we're going to see what we can find. So I'm in the centre of Bedd Gelert now, and the rivers are spotless, and there's currently people doing maintenance work on the rivers and the local area. The pub opposite is also called Prince Llewellyn, which is the name of the prince in the folklore story. The shop next to it is called, not sure if you can see, Bedd Gelert Antiques. So the whole town is really named on the folklore story, which is beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous here. So yeah.
Yeah.
So we've just come to the Colwyn Cafe, which is in the centre of Bedd Gelert, and I'm shocked to see that they've got a Welsh breakfast on the menu, which is exactly the same as where I'm from we'd call an English breakfast. It's exactly the same, so it's bacon, egg, sausages, tomato, mushroom, baked beans, hash brown and toast, but they call it a Welsh breakfast, so that was cool to see. So this is my Welsh breakfast. And speaking to the lady that served me, the reason it's called Welsh breakfast is because all of the food is locally sourced. So yeah, I'm excited to tuck in. Very similarly to Llyn y Fan Fach, Bedd Gelert also has a map leading up towards the location of Gelert's grave. We are here, and the grave is just sited here, so it's just on the other side of that field. So yeah, we're going to go and explore that now.
Yeah.
As we approach Gelert's grave, we have a little monument which describes the story of Bedd Gelert. The story which is that Prince Llewellyn had left his trusting hound in care of his child. In his absence, a wolf came into the home and tried to attack the child. Gelert, the faithful hound that he was, defended the child. And in amongst the moment, the cot was fallen onto the floor. When Prince Llewellyn returned to the home, all that he found was Gelert covered in blood and the crib turned over. In his rage and assumption, he killed poor Gelert, later to find that the dog had actually defended his child. The town is now named after Bedd Gelert, and this is the story leading up to the monument that you'll see further in the background that we're going to go and explore now. So this is the location of Gelert's grave. It's supposed to represent the home that he was defending, and inside there is a statue of Gelert, the faithful hound. Here he is. Not sure if you can see that very well, but yeah, that's the Gelert statue. This is what people travel miles to come and see. Although the location that we are in is absolutely beautiful, there's no doubt, we are surrounded by gorgeous scenery. Something about Gelert's grave is quite eerie, and the story is absolutely tragic, very similarly to Llyn y Fan Fach. Although when I was at Llyn y Fan Fach, I felt a conflict because it was so beautiful and the story was so tragic. I think when you actually visit Gelert's grave, you do get that eerie feeling, and you can feel how, you know, tragic the story really is. Unlike Llyn y Fan Fach, it was very easy to find the grave. You didn't have to climb up any mountains, although we are amongst the mountains. But yeah, it was quite easy to get to. We've seen a lot of people come and visit the grave on our way over. So I'm just excited now to speak to the locals and see how popular of a location this is and how important it is to them that people continue to come here to visit Geilert's grave and appreciate our folklore and the traditions of our country. Hello, today I'm here with Bethan, who I've met outside Bedd Geilert. I just wanted to ask a couple of questions. Are you local from the area?
Yes, I live in the village.
You are? And
yes.
Do you see a lot of tourists come to this location?
A lot.
From near or far?
All over the country,
all
really.
Over the place.
Yeah,
oh, that's
and
amazing.
Abroad, yeah.
Yeah, so obviously you know the story of Bedd Geilert.
Yes.
How important do you think it is that we continue to come to these places to appreciate the folklore?
Oh, very important, because the village economy depends on it as well.
Okay.
Yeah, yes,
it's
we have
amazing.
to promote it all the time.
Oh, that's brilliant. It's really an integral part of our history, isn't it?
Definitely.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it. It's lovely to meet you.
Yes,
nice to come to the day.
Yeah.
It was very nice of me to discover that a lot of tourists come here from all over Europe, as Bethan said. The local community really does depend on the tourists coming here to appreciate the culture, and it really does help to keep the folklore story alive. I love to see how traditional and Welsh everyone is here. And just how much of a close-knit community it is, and that people rely on each other to keep things alive and flourishing here and as beautiful as it is. One of the big differences that I've noticed in North Wales compared to the South West Wales is that everyone speaks Welsh, traditional North Welsh, and you can just hear people having conversations with each other as you walk by, and that's a rarity from where I'm from. So yeah, it's really beautiful to see that it's still rich with culture here and that the Welsh language is most people's first language. We met a couple of people last night that were speaking in Welsh to me, and their accents were so thick that I could hardly understand them. But yeah, there's slight differences in the Welsh that I speak to what they speak, but it's just way more common here to hear people speaking Welsh, and it was a really nice surprise. But before I go, I just want to touch the water. And it is freezing cold. There's also a little fishy there that I've just seen. So yeah, it's absolutely flourishing with life here. They've won many awards for keeping the area clean. So yeah, you can see how beautiful it is here and how well kept everything is. And I think that's down to as well, you know, the tourists coming and them having to keep it a clean area so that it's appealing for people to come. And like Bethan said again, they really do depend on tourists coming here to keep the area having an income and to keep things able to flow and keep things green. So yeah. Surrounded by lots of wildlife here, including our traditional animal, which everybody knows, sheep. There's hundreds of them. Just around from the corner of Bedd Geilert, there is this shop where tourists can come and purchase postcards of Bedd Geilert, which is lovely to see. It was really lovely for me to see that so many people have travelled from near and far to come and see Bedd Geilert. Something that I also really loved was that the locals still visit the grave, although they've been here all their lives. They still go and visit Bedd Geilert to keep the folklore story alive. And with that, I'm at the end of my journey in Bedd Geilert. It's been absolutely lovely, and I will be sure to return. So thank you very much. To my surprise, on my journey back from Bedd Geilert, I actually stumbled upon a Cofiwch Tryweryn sign, which is also a very important part of our Welsh history. It's actually another quite sad part of our history, and this is real history. And it's basically about a town called Tryweryn that was unfortunately flooded so that Liverpool could have a canal. This is a true fact of history. And yeah, I was really blessed to be able to see a Cofiwch Tryweryn sign. I seem very happy in the clip that I'm about to show, because I was shocked to have come across it, and pleased that I could include it in my field trip. But it's actually quite a sad story. But yeah, so here's me at Cofiwch Tryweryn. Here I am at Cofiwch Tryweryn. This is another example of our Welsh history being portrayed in our country. It's a really important part of our history, and I'm so over the moon to be here right now. The next clip that I'm going to show is an interview that I did with one of my very good Welsh friends, Steffan Jones, who comes from my town, Llanelli. He's a very enthusiastic Welsh person, so I thought it would be good to get an insight on how someone else feels in my local area about our Welsh culture. Hello, so today I'm here with my good friend Steffan Jones.
Hello.
Who is local in my community, Llanelli. So I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions.
Great, let's go.
So the first question I would like to ask you is, how long have you been speaking Welsh?
I have spoke Welsh my whole life, so it's actually my first language. English is my second language, yes.
Oh, that's brilliant. So does your family speak Welsh, and how often do you use the language with your family?
Yeah, I've actually been really fortunate. I've grown up with both Welsh-speaking parents. My mother's side completely Welsh, so my gran, my uncle, my father was the only one that spoke Welsh in his family.
Yeah.
So I kind of see that similar with myself, but yeah, my family speak it
quite often.
Yeah, quite often.
Okay, brilliant. Do you think that if your family didn't speak Welsh, it would have impacted your Welsh speaking?
I definitely think it does have an effect, doesn't it? I think having Welsh-speaking parents has an impact on you. It increases your chances of, you know, having the Welsh language as your first language.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, I've seen it as well from many people in my class. You can grow up to speak fluent Welsh and even have Welsh as your first language, even with English-speaking parents. So I think it can go both ways, yeah.
Okay, cool. So would you say that the Welsh language is commonly used in Llanelli?
Yes, I think compared to other Welsh towns, you do see a lot of Welsh around, kind of Welsh being used in the town centre, in shops, in kind of GP surgeries and stuff like that.
Okay.
I think, you know, compare that to somewhere like a city such as like Swansea, it's much more likely.
Yeah, that's true. So do you think it's important that people continue to speak the Welsh language?
Yes, definitely, of course. Cymru am byth, I think we should always promote the Welsh language, and you know, it is, unfortunately, is a language that's dying out, and I think we need to, all the Welsh people, even the people who don't speak Welsh but have that faith in the Welsh language and the Welsh culture, should continue to work together to promote it through the world, you know, not just through the country but through the world, and just make our presence known, because we are a small country and I feel like sometimes we do get forgotten about and just kind of standardise along with the United Kingdom or Britain, but we are our own country. Wales is its own country, and the Welsh language hopefully will go on and prosper for many, many years.
Brilliant. And you've kind of answered my next question slightly. You mentioned that it's a dying language. Do you think there's a stigma surrounding the Welsh language? Maybe that's why you think it's dying?
Yes, definitely. And I think there is some truth in it. There is a lot less. There's a lot less Welsh-speaking people than there is now than there could have been many years ago. But equally, it's just about comparison. If you compare it to a time when, you know, England kind of dominated Wales, you see the kind of Welsh-speaking population decline quite rapidly. However, compare that to now, there's a lot more Welsh-speaking people. So I think if we're on the right track, and I think it is a language that's coming back. It's not done. I don't think it'll ever be done. So. Yeah, I think that kind of negative attitude about it being dying out, it's just kind of a blip. It's just something in the journey on its way to something greater.
Brilliant. And are you familiar with any Welsh folklore stories?
I remember learning about one in school called, I think it was the story of Mabinogi. Would you want me to tell you a bit about the story?
If you like, yeah.
Yeah, of course. It's just a folklore story, basically. I can't really remember the full story, but you know, the main kind of principle of it was that the man came home to find, basically he'd seen that his baby's cot has been tipped over and his dog was covered in blood, and he'd assumed that the dog had killed his baby, when in fact a wolf or like a fox had broken in and the dog had actually defended the baby. So that's only one kind of...
That's actually Beard Gaylord. That's one of the folklore stories that I'll be focusing on.
Right,
So it's
okay.
interesting to
Yeah,
know that
that's
that's one
it.
that stood out to you as well.
Yes,
So
okay.
yes, I think we
yeah.
probably both learnt it in school.
Yeah,
Yes.
yes,
So
definitely.
do you think that folklore stories are an important part of Welsh culture? Your personal opinion?
I think it plays a part in it, of course. I mean, with every culture there's kind of folklore stories, but yeah, I think it's important to kind of recognise Wales has its own as well, which is good, which is quite cool, yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Well, thank you very much, Steffan.
Thank you very much.
Diolch yn fawr. Thank you very much for watching my clips of my field trip. I hope you enjoyed as much as I did. And, you know, I found it very informative. I learnt a lot about the communities and the local areas and the importance of our Welsh history and culture and how important folklore really is to our country. And I will definitely be taking the inspiration from all of that and applying it into my songs. So yes, thank you very much for watching.